I'm exactly that kind of girl who can book a vacation either a week before or months in advance. There is no in between. But no matter how much time I have, the script is always the same. It's totally classic. I have 2 days left, followed by me aggressively packing in state of pure panic. But this time, the issue wasn't the clothes. Yeah, because I already made those. The real crisis was the accessories. I refuse to give fast fashion a single chance, and charity shops weren't an option either because they're closed today and tomorrow. So naturally, I decided to just make everything myself. I've got 3 pieces of fabric, blue, pink and white. Without overthinking it, I quickly drew a sketch. Okay, yeah, it looks like it was drawn by a toddler in a rush. I know it doesn't look like a high fashion sketch, but hey, I don't make the rules when I'm running out of time. I had these 3 pieces of faux leather that I bought alongside my wardrobe fabrics. I got them on sale, hoping I could use them to practice before moving on the real deal, so the choice was obvious. I have 48 hours, so I start laying out the fabric. Okay, time to talk about my super smart engineer masterpiece of a camera setup. My phone was literally taped to the ceiling with the double-sided tape. Apparently, the city decided it no longer wanted to support my vacation. Gravity really said, not today. Anyway, I quickly cut a piece of 2 iPhone x1 iPhone, and the width of the bottom is like the width of an iPhone, because I don't need anything heavier than my iPhone in my bag while on vacation. And 2 strips for the frame. I'm cutting all the fabric right now because multitasking is my only coping mechanism to save time. Oh my god! Wait, did you just notice my nails? Did you see that they are no longer as gorgeous and bright as they usually are? I completely understand if you want to unsubscribe from me right now. Wait, hold on. I literally have 0 subscribers. Never mind. Well, in that case, I will say this. I completely understand if you decide not to subscribe to me. But seriously, my nails had a little midlife crisis due to some damage, so I'm currently taking a break from the gel polish. The good news is they actually super healthy right now. Next month, I'm finally getting a fresh manicure, so I'm honestly thrilled. Is it better I wanted to start with the only thing I actually have experience with? Heads. The plan was to make 2 and mix the color. I decided to cut everything I could or couldn't, so all at once, just so I wouldn't waste time later. At this stage, I had no clue which color would go where, except for the white clutch. I wanted to make it long, like a baguette or a giant sausage. It would be so cool to make a similar bag out of the pink fabric too, because I'm obsessed with it. It looks like a massive piece of sausage. Anyway, to a structure and make sure they last more than 1 season, I've fused them with a super stiff interfacing. I've never worked with it before, so it was a total surprise. I cut out 1 head from each fabric and mixed it much later. And instead of making them 1 by 1, I started sewing them simultaneously because I thought it would be faster and time was ticking. Speaking of time, I always have an issue with it. I feel like I sew so slowly. Maybe it's my atelier experience, but I overcomplicate everything, even things I make for myself. And the second thing I struggle with is choices. If there is more than 1 option, it's totally disaster. But choice I had to make quickly, so I made a quick sausage choice for one, and for the other, I went with a bold at sea concept. Do you get the concept? For the lining, I used fabric I bought while visiting my family and friends. I spent ages digging through the clearance section there, and they just kept giving me more and more options. In the end, I picked 2, a beige one for the bold story, pink sand vibes, if you catch the drift, and the deep red one for the sausage project. I used my own hat pattern from this video. If you guys want a full tutorial, let me know in the comments. The process is simple. First, you connect the brim pieces into a circle, sewing them right side together. Then, you sew all 6 panels together. It takes a lot of monotonous time, but we are romanticizing the process, okay? Are you wondering what I'm doing right now? I'm cutting tiny little triangles along the seams and allowance. Why? Because it helps the curved seams perfectly smooth when they flip inside out. Wait, that looks like a nice bra cup. But then I noticed something suspicious. The top round part looked aggressively huge. Yes, you're right. It's big. You should fix it. No, this problem is already waiting for me in the future. Now we join the 2 halves together. You're probably wondering, why these specific models? I mean, You're wondering, right? Because they don't look like your typical vacation staples. No tote bags, no bucket hats, no raffia crochet everything vibes. Well, I have officially cancelled those models for a minute. I just want to be unpredictable. I think I surprised you too. Those other things are just everywhere right now. I got the appeal, but I wanted something fresh, bright, and versatile. Enough to serve me another season too, because we like to keep it smart and calculating around here. I need to drink some tea. I actually voice covering in the car because they're so good. Voice isolation. It's 10:30 p.m. The light is off again. Oh my god. And it's dark here and I'm a little afraid when the automatic lighting is stopping to light. I will show you how I make all of these things down here. When it happens, I have to get out of the car and wave my hands to get the light back on because I'm afraid to sit here with all of this darkness. And for sure I need to lock the car. Then I repeated everything for the lining, except I completely forgot to leave an opening in the lining to turn it inside out, so I had to rip the seams open and restitch. Then came the brim, where my machine started acting up. What my sewing machine does when I'm already overstimulated. Is it just me, or is faux leather so much harder to work with than a real leather? Correct me if I'm wrong. At this point, I literally had like 2 seams left to finish the hats, but my mental state couldn't take it. So I abandoned them and switched to the first bag. Now, the first bag. It all started with trying to figure out how to wrap the metal frame with fabric. After a few failed attempts on the machine, I gave up. Grabbed some double-sided tape and just glued it. Is there a more professional way to do this? Probably. Do I know it? Still no. I cut the pieces and then it was time to choose the lining. I stared at it for a few minutes and settled on this polyester option I got from my neighbor, whom I occasionally do alteration for. I had some issues, so I decided to make the bottom and side separately. First, I stitched it lengthwise, side, bottom, other side. Once upon a time, a lizard was broke into my house. Well, my cat went full predator mode, chased it, and the lizard tails literally snapped off. So to save the day, I hid the detached lizard tail under that specific piece of iron paper under my table so my cat wouldn't eat it. And it worked. Problem solved. Back to the bag. I have zero actual experience making bags. Okay, fine. I have one video about the bag, but that was a crocheted, which was absolutely nothing in common with what I was trying to do here. This one has a metal frame closure, and I wanted it to be tucked inside rather than sticking it out on top, keeping the bag long, sleek, and wrinkle-free. I'm not an ageist, by the way. Once I finished sewing the main body, I realized it had absolutely zero stability. It looked nothing like my sketch. That embarrassing drawing again. It was a floppy mess. I added a piece of embroidered plastic canvas to the bottom so it wouldn't sag. But it wasn't enough. I needed that horrible stiff interfacing on the sides too. After overthinking it a lot of times and having a long negotiation with myself, I accepted my fate. I had to rip open the side seams and fuse the interfacing. By the way, as someone with a good taste who absolutely adores heels, bags, hats, all things accessories, I somehow have the most boring accessory collection ever. Let's not count my green patek of heels. The one time I actually dedicated time to thrifting, and turns out I can find cool cheap things. It was 30 euros in basically brand new condition. For the longest time, that was the only bright thing in my wardrobe until I started sewing everything myself. I still don't know how that happened. But yay, now she's stable! We love structure. To finish the bottom canvas, I secured it with my precious back feet. I bought them a while ago, but only had a few left. It was terrifying poking holes into fabric with an awl, but let's be honest, I made and will make plenty of mistakes and holes in my life. After that ordeal, we went to visit our neighbors, who happened to be my boyfriend's brother, for some cocktails. And on our way up in the elevator, we saw this. Just casual half-chew flu cucumbers in the elevator. Gourmet stuff. So here I am late at night hand-stitching the lining to the frame and base. You're currently watching me make a massive mistake that I won't even realize until tomorrow morning when the bag is almost done. Yay for sleep deprivation! While the bag was haunting me, I went back to the hat. Remember the Bermuda shoe where the top part was too wide? Yeah, that mistake literally cost me a few broken sewing needles and a significant amount of my remaining brain cells. Turning them inside out through the tiny opening was an absolute nightmare, especially because the stiff interfacing kept crinkling and rustling like loud cardboard. But I managed to flip them, do a quick top stitch away from the machine, and they were done. Here's a little review of how they look on me right now. And just like that, we're down to less than 24 hours. Cut to the next morning. We had eggs for breakfast. Because look at me, I'm a master chef. Since I noticed my massive big mistake from last night, I packed the bag into my purse because we were heading out to the car wash and I needed to fix it on the go. We were waiting for our car to get washed, hanging out on a coffee shop. So while we wait, I'm casually doing my makeup in café. And yes, it gets hand washed because our car is apparently too cool for automatic car washes, and doing it ourselves is way too risky for its safety. And trying to fix last night's sewing disaster, I actually finished the bag right here. Coffee was spilled on my boyfriend, then on me, mostly because there was zero space on the table for his laptop, my makeup bag, and the full-on purse manufacturing operation. Look at the car now, clean, shiny, and smelling amazing. And look at these shots of me in my brand new white bag in the car. When I got home, I immediately started the second bag, the drawstring pouch. Here is what it looks like, and here are the colors. I wanted to use all of them as accents. I've seen a million tutorials on how to make these pouches, but I specifically chose not to watch any and just raw dog it from memory. I cut approximately several centimeters of pink for the base, adding slightly curved at the bottom to create nice folds. Back to our Supreme sausage product. The bottom was pink too, but the drawstrings were going to be blue. I hope to make some cute fabric flowers for the ends instead of basic knots if time allowed. The lining choice seems obvious, but I hesitated again and went with red. I started with the drawstrings. To make the cards, I took the blue fabric, folded in this weird way, and as I started sewing, it just looked crooked, way too crooked. It kept tearing and looked absolutely tragic. The fact that I had zero matching threads for this project didn't help. This was the exact moment I realized faux laser is a nightmare. It's so unstable and incredibly delicate. Real leather has got to be sturdier and more predictable. After a lot of trial and errors, I realized I need to modify my setup. I put tape on the bottom of my sewing hood, placed button paper or paper towels or toilet paper, honestly whatever, underneath, and lubricated the top of the cord with body lotion. This faux leather is such a nightmare maintenance diva. I used a hotel body cream I brought home once and it actually worked. The cords finally looked decent, so I moved on the actual sewing, making the pleats. Knitting in the drawstring holes, they look like half an iPhone. I have iPhone 13. Adding the loop for the handle, I made a rectangular where one side is exactly twice as long as the other, and join it with the lining. Then I stitched the sides and attached the bottom, which I also fused with that weird interfacing. I left the side unfused so the bag would stay slouchy, lightweight, and romantic. Plus, I didn't want to waste time. All that was left was finishing the top edges, sliding the cords in and closing the lining. But when I tried to top stitch the top edge, it looks like super crooked and kept snapping. Just a couple of hours before our vacation, I was sitting in a cafe with my boyfriend again, putting the final stitches on the back, and I actually made it. Look at me standing here looking gorgeous with my new bag. I even managed to add these cute fabric flowers at the end of the cords instead of basic knots. Here I'm in the car showing off different outfits with my pink bag. Here I am walking with a white bag, looking cute here, looking cute there, pretending to look for something inside my bag, and yes, even posing in public restroom because the feed was hidden. Here is a shot of me and my boyfriend in that round traffic mirror on those narrow roads. And now look at where we actually went. My boyfriend captured these cinematic video clips all by himself, and it looks absolutely wow. He's super talented. But anyway, enough about him. Look at me with a pink bag here and here and here. That's perfect bag. And while my boyfriend is doing all this heavy lifting filming me, I am of course doing my makeup.